Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Corndog. In the last video we went over script and how to get rid of your unwanted gear so you can roll your own weapons. And if you missed that video, go to my page as I have very few videos and you can rewatch that video if you need to. Now today's topic is for all of you filthy hoarders out there, including myself. And we're going to do a little spring cleaning and make a little more room on our stash box. So as much as this is going to hurt, we're going to get ready to start disposing of things that we don't need in Fallout 76. Now to start off, I like to get rid of all the extra food that I don't need. I make sure that I cook the food first, as you'll get double the caps that you would if you were to sell raw meat. And this is one good way to get rid of some of the unnecessary weight that you are traveling with. This is unnecessary weight that will go under the radar. Moving on, we're going to focus on weapons. Now, weapons can take a whole lot of inventory space, both on your stash and on your personal inventory. I suggest that you only keep weapons that are either beneficial to your playstyle or the class that you are trying to build. Now, keeping extra weapons in your stash box isn't a problem, but I do suggest that if you're trying to make some caps off of them, or if you think, oh, I might use this later, if it's been about 2 weeks and you haven't made a sale on your vendor, or you haven't even thought about using a weapon that you think you might want to try out later on, I think it's time to part ways with it, as it's only taking up inventory that you could be using for other things, especially if you're not a Fallout First subscriber, as all that junk that you're going to be having in your stash box is going to take the biggest chunk of cap space that you have available. So I suggest focus on junk, not on the weapons that you don't need. In this section of the video, I'm looking over all the things that I have in my inventory, like this Holy Fire weighs 15, and that's just something that I don't need. It's been there for a while. It's not selling, so I'm probably going to get rid of it. This Gatling gun, that's been sitting there for about 2 weeks, not selling, so I'll probably get rid of that. This minigun, a same thing. It's been sitting, this fixer, and this is all just junk that I'm trying to sell for caps to see if it sells. It hasn't been selling, so I'm gonna part ways with it and get some script out of them, as I'm not a Fallout First subscriber on this account, so I would rather prioritize having extra junk to craft the ammo I need for the weapons that I do use, the junk that I need to repair them, and there's just many other things that you can be doing with the extra space available instead of hoarding junk that you don't need. Now, moving on, armor is also extremely heavy in the game. You want to get rid of all unnecessary armor pieces, parts that you don't need, and some of them can be deceiving, as some of them say that they only weigh 1 pound, or like this power armor part that's brutally honest and says that it weighs 20 pounds. And this is because we have some perk cards attached to us. Now, perk cards are a whole different topic that I'll love to cover in a different video, but if we take some of these items out, they'll drop a good little chunk of cap space available in our stash box. And there are other weapons that also have no weight, like this cane that says it only weighs 0.80, this knife that says that it weighs 0.80. Now these are very light weapons, so these are not lying to you. These do weigh a little bit. There are also heavy weapons with legendary effects of -90 reduced weight, so if it has that, it will also weigh like 1 pound or something. Those are not lying to you, and you could keep those around a little bit longer for selling, or if you want to try them out. But otherwise, if they don't have that effect, it's just taking way too much space, and if you're not going to use them, there's no reason to keep them around. Now, over the course of the video, I have been taking things out of my stash box, and if you have paid attention, and if not, you can go back and check it out. But the weight on our stash box has dropped significantly. I think I started with like 1,114, and I believe I'm down to like 900. So just the fact that I took out some weapons, some armor, food, etc., like that's just all unnecessary junk that we don't need to have. Yet I still decided to keep it around for some reason. Actually, I lied to you. I know why I kept it around, because I'm a hoarder. Like most of us are. We don't want to get rid of stuff because we think we're going to use it later. We make excuses, but enough's enough. We're not going to use it. Let's get rid of it. Now, something I failed to mention earlier is when you are cleaning out your stash box or your inventory, get rid of unnecessary heavy stuff first, as there is a daily cap on legendary script that you can get per day, which is 500. So I highly recommend get rid of the heavy stuff first, hold on to the lighter stuff longer, so that you can maximize the amount of cap space that you have on your inventory weight. As I'm showing above, I got rid of all my heavy stuff first. Now I'm getting rid of all the light stuff. We're gonna make some more room as I want to continue being a hoarder for newer things. Let's get rid of the old stuff and let's hoard some new stuff now. Another thing that can run under the radar, go completely unnoticed, is all of your aids equipment. Now, don't get me wrong, we all need stim packs, RadAway, etc. But there's no reason why we should have like 30 in our stash box. There's no reason why we should be walking around with like 50 of them unless you're like a bloodied build. I suggest you get rid of the stuff that you don't need. Don't be a hoarder and sell some stim packs or donate them at donation boxes, whatever floats your boat. I like to walk around with about 20 stim packs, and then like about 5 stim pack supers. These are very easy to get as you can just join an expedition and resupply on stim packs, RadAway, etc. So there is nothing wrong with getting rid of them, donating them, as these do take a huge chunk of space in your inventory. These will over encumber you like crazy, and you wouldn't even expect them to. Now, I'm selling them at the vendor because I want to make some quick caps. You can sell them in your personal vendor, or you can just go to a world vendor and sell them there. If you have your hard bargain card all the way up, there's nothing wrong with selling them, as you can resupply with expeditions or daily ops. Those are where I get all of my stim packs. So don't be afraid to use them like crazy. You can always easily resupply. Now, the reason why you don't want to keep any of your chem items in your stash box is because they weigh a lot. Carry them with you in your personal inventory. Make sure you have traveling pharmacy on. The higher the perk level, the less they will weigh. If it's a level 3 perk card, it'll reduce the weight by 90%. If it's 2 stars, by 60%, and I believe 1 star by 30%. So they'll weigh a lot less in your personal inventory than in your stash box. And moving on, we're going to talk about what you should and shouldn't be carrying with you when it comes to weapons. Some weapons will weigh less in your personal inventory than they will in your stash box. For example, this Elder Mark weighs about 1 pound in my personal inventory, whereas if I put it in my stash box, it goes up by like about 10 to 12, maybe even 15. Once again, I'm going to deposit it, and you're going to see that my inventory weight is going to jump more than 10 points, and I'm going to take it back and it's going to drop more than 10 points. It only weighs 1 pound in my personal inventory because of the per card that I'm carrying. It makes assault weapons weigh 90% less or something like that. I could be wrong. So per cards, that's another topic of its own. I'd like to go over that in a different video, but we'll briefly discuss a couple of per cards coming up next. Now, to talk about a build, that'll be a whole different video of its own. Now, about perk cards, I have a couple of perk cards that make things way less when I carry them personally. For example, traveling pharmacy. Right now, chems weigh 60% less in my personal inventory, but they will weigh their normal amount if I was to move them into my stash box. So it makes more sense for me to carry my chems with me, as well as my food or drinks. They weigh 60% less. Unfortunately, I don't have them maxed out at the moment, but I am working on that. As you can see, if you level up the card, it'll reduce the weight by 90% for all food and beverages. So these cards are going to be very important, as you'll be able to carry a lot more with you and take some stress away from your stash box, and it will thank you very much for that help. Now, lastly, we want to focus on ammunition. Now, any ammunition that you do not use, I highly recommend you either get rid of it, like dispose of it, donate it in one of these donation boxes. Unfortunately, you can't sell them to world vendors, but you can sell it in your personal vendor. I highly suggest selling each ammunition 1 per cap, as any more than that is outrageous, and we're all cheap. We don't want to spend a lot of our caps. They're hard to come by, especially early game. And for all new players, please check out these donation boxes. Sometimes they only have a little bit of things in them, sometimes they have a lot. So these are very helpful for new players or returning players that need that little extra help. And besides, come on, you don't need all that extra ammo. Get rid of all those missiles, cannonballs, mini nukes. They're just eating away from all of your inventory space, especially if you are not a Fallout 1st subscriber. And that'll do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, please leave a comment. If there's any questions you might have, I'll be happy to answer them. If there's anything that I missed or anything that wasn't clearly explained, feel free to reach out. I love helping out new players. I love helping out returning players. If you catch me walking around the Appalachia, I'll leave my gamer tag for Xbox and PC down below in the description. Once again, thank you for checking the video out. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I get to make more content for you guys. Thank you. Safe travels, dwellers.